Alright, book update for the Vengeance channel. I wanted to talk about, ignore this by the way, that's a pimple that I kind of murdered. I wanted to talk about, vagueness in updates and such, and really get into, I wanna divulge and be a little bit more clear in some context with book 2 and everything. Like, for anyone who has read book 1, then obviously you can kind of interpret my vague posts. You can interpret who I'm talking about. You can interpret and kind of dissect what I'm saying and, figure it out on your own. But I'm tired of talking, like, unnaturally about it. I'm tired of talking and being vague, because I'm afraid of, if I mention certain things, then it might hint at spoils or whatever for book 1, or it might imply certain things for those who might who might watch the video without reading book 1, and kind of give you a false idea on the events of book 1. I'm sorry, my brain's a little fried because I was writing today and I was thinking about it. So I want to be a little bit more clear without directly spoiling things, because I won't say one way or the other of certain aspects of book 1, but I do want to talk about the kind of pace of book 2. So, for anyone who's not interested at all in book 2 stuff, I don't know why you're watching this anyway, but if you're not interested in protagonists and some of the characters, then click off now. But basically, I'm the troubles that I'm having right now, and the reasons why I've been talking about having issues with dialogue, is because book 2 is a shift in character perspective. Book 2 does not follow Kim as the primary antagonist. There are all the same characters, basically, but we are a shift in focus. We are in somebody else's eyes in book 2. We're in Tansu's eyes. Tansu is the main character of book 2. So, with that being said, this is where the troubles of writing dialogue from her direct perspective come into play. And the reason why is because I have spent so long writing from the perspective of Kim, developing Kim, and doing all this stuff where I know exactly how she would react to a situation. I know exactly how she will respond, what she would say, what she wouldn't say, and how she might choke on certain things and hold back and reevaluate and, double back on herself. And I know how she reacts to stuff. And while I know how Tansu reacts to stuff, Tansu is always reacting off of Kim's foundation. So you're not seeing Tansu approach a situation without having her hand held in the dialogue sense by Kim, you know? So writing now from directly inside of Tansu's brain as the I, me, my kind of perspective narrative, it's challenging because it's like I'm writing a new character even though she's established, because now I'm interpreting how she's thinking about a situation and what kind of emotions she's dealing with, while also maintaining the continuity of the character we know her to be, but also showing you a new side of her, because this is unfiltered, because you always get the response of Tansu filtered, as she is verbally responding from somebody else's viewpoint. But now that you're in her head, we are experiencing what it's like to see her respond to situations naturally, and how she filters herself, or what kind of fronts she put up to certain people, which is all fun and good, but it is a very tough challenge, because Kim is very vocal. She's either dead silent and kind of threatening, or she's very verbal about her opinion. Not to mention having Alice as somebody to go back and forth between and get like wisdom from and whatever, have an argument with. But Tansu, it's Tansu, and she is very quiet. She's very reserved. She's very afraid. She's very distrusting. She's all these very reserved things and emotions and personality traits that make it hard for her to interact with the scenery in a way that I'm familiar with. So that's been my biggest trouble. So whenever I'm talking about having problems with writing dialogue, it's because I'm writing dialogue for a character that honestly doesn't talk a lot outside of her mom and Kim. She's just a quiet person. So whenever she's in a situation, I find myself defaulting to a response to how, say, Kim would respond, or to how Joey might respond, or how other characters might respond in that situation. More vocal characters, but with Tansu being less vocal and also knowing less about certain subjects, knowing less about like say sin and Tuffle stuff and just demonic stuff. With her limited information, things are hard. Her response to things are are full of questions, you know. So it's it is a big pain in the butt. But I am finding myself, even though it takes twice as long to write, because I have no problem writing scenery right now, or at least getting the foundation and the basis for scenery. I have no problem with that when I'm describing dream sequences, um, environments, and feelings, and just descriptions of, whatever have you, adjectives and stuff. I have no problem pulling that stuff out from the environment because I can do that because I've established the environment. But now the environment has a different reading on it based on the character's perspective. Again, this is the way Tansu sees things. These are things that Tansu has different memories of embedded in the objects and um, in the room or whatever have you. So it adds a whole nother layer that makes it fun for me to add to her past, her history, and give you a deeper sense of who she is and stuff. But it also makes it harder because now I have to do that. It's just it's I don't know how to describe it without sounding like I'm complaining, because I'm not complaining, but I'm just expressing how much of a challenge it is and why. For me, I feel like I'm taking forever. Like I'm 8 chapters in. I'm like 100 pages in right now, and that's great. Man, I'm very happy with what I have right now. But every time I start a new chapter, it's everything is taking like twice as long. Every dialogue section is twice as long because I have to write from 3 characters who I don't have a lot of experience of, who don't have any experience interacting. So, and also 2 characters who are pretty much a giant mystery. So it's like it's hard. It's very hard. But I'm hoping that by the time I get through with the first draft, I have enough of a basis to really flesh everything out. Because the first draft is just making it exist. The first draft is just like, okay, hey, book 2, beginning, middle, end, we're done, right? Now I go through and I make it the book. I make it the story. I add the foreshadowing. I I expand on certain things, and I add the little teases, the hints, the little fan service stuff. There's I have a lot of really good ideas, and I have it all written down. It's all in place, it's all in order, but it's just getting through each individual dialogue section is so difficult because of the hurdles that I face of being in a different brain, being a different person in the story. Very hard. So, but yeah, so this is basically to clarify all that stuff that for those of you who have read book 1 or haven't read book 1, just know that Tansu, the secondary protagonist in book 1, is now the primary protagonist in book 2, or at least one of. But you are following her. I me my Tansu is how it is. So that's what's going on, and those are my qualms. And I'm finding myself writing for 4 hours and getting only a handful of pages done because every time I write a dialogue section, it's delete, 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 reword, 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 rephrase, redo, undo, edit, undo. Fuck. I gotta walk away. Come back. Okay, I gotta figure it out. But now that I got that dialogue section figured out, what's the next step? What's happening next? Oh god, because it's all blank in front of me. Basically, it's all basically blank. I do have my like timeline laid out, and I'm trying my best to like when I get to the end of like, all right, I'm writing, this character said this, and now it's empty in front of me. There's nothing for me to edit over or do whatever. It's empty. I'm writing the next scene from scratch now, basically my with my guideline ahead of me. Okay, so it's like book written, guideline down below, and then the middle is where I'm writing now, where it's just blank. I have to start that from fresh. And I am finding myself needing to script out what's going to happen next. So, like, this character's going to do this character's going to do this, they experience this, they do that, they say this, they say that, and then I have that basis, and then I take that, and I expand. So I'm basically doing, like, mini rough drafts per section and then fixing it kind of thing. It's a really complicated way of writing, but honestly, it is working. It's just super stressful. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, book update.